Hey guys, welcome to today's tech team training. I'll be walking you through who is the tech team, what do we do, why do we do it, what do we not do, what data do we have, how do we get that data, and then finally, how do you interact with that as a OneStone user? Different teams have different uses, so I'll try to kind of blanket this so that everyone can get an idea as to how their puzzle piece fits into the bigger picture within tech. So first off, who are we and what do we do? So the tech team, it's a smaller team here at OneStone, and our main goal and our main priority is to obtain retail data, model that, and then build retail tech as a result. So that can come in the form of dashboards, it can come in the form of tools that run automations, it can come in terms of different tools that are client facing that they get to use and interact with. But the reality is that you can buy tech or you can build tech. And so we have kind of a blend where we build a whole lot and then we license a few things to kind of make it a better story. And then at the end of the day, our clients get serviced better. And then we have different things that we can put into the market and sell as well. So let's talk that through. And so the data that we've got is largely retail data. So think sales, inventory, pricing, advertising, content pulled from page, all of that kind of thing put into models. And so really we're trying to create pipes to connect to teams and to connect to brands that can be used within dashboards that we put out or used within custom suites that our teams put together. And so really we're keeping that up to date, keeping it accurate all the time. There's a lot of work and a lot of maintenance to build into that and then to maintain that standard. So there is a lot that goes on over here in tech, and we are very busy. We do a lot of things and wear a lot of hats, but it's because it just brings so much value and so much strategy to the rest of the teams to interact with and make data-driven decisions. So let's talk about what we don't do. We've come from a place where we used to do a lot of custom reporting, build custom things on behalf of specific brands or on behalf of specific teams that were very niche. We don't really do that anymore. We focused largely on being a tech team. And so that's building scalable products that impact lots of brands, that have high impact, that create a lot of efficiency. And so when we are creating one-off custom things, kills our scalability, kills our ability to action into things that are broader marketplace. We've also found that we bottleneck client teams or other teams because we don't always have the information or the context about a specific brand. So when we're building one-off things, it's not always from an informed place. It's just from what we see in the data. And so that slows things down or it builds it with the wrong kind of lighting for that brand. And then it also prevents the brand manager or the client manager from learning how to build and strategize and build their own analytics. And so we found that sometimes we become a crutch, which isn't fair, for the growth of the rest of the company. And so we just want to say, here's the pipes, here's all the data, build whatever you want to with it. We keep this live, you can count on that. And then, they get to learn and grow from that as a result. And then we get to keep building better pipes and putting better things in place instead of just working off one-off of little things. So let's talk about the data that we have and how we get that. So we've got a ton of data coming from multiple retailers. So think Amazon, think Walmart, in-store, Walmart.com, think retail tech data, so campaigns, advertising, spend, budget, that kind of thing. And then think data that's pulled directly off of page. So that's titles, descriptions, bullet points, images. We house all of that. So I'll screen share, show you what a typical database looks like for a client. You don't have to know anything about databases to see this. You're just getting an idea as to kind of what we're working with here. Alrighty. So this is our Azure SQL Server. This is all housed in the cloud at Microsoft Azure. So this is a very secure platform. Every client of ours gets their own separate database. This keeps it very, very secure. There's no risk of data bleeding from one client to another. That never happens because these are all housed separately. So what you'll find is that within each of these clients, we've got a ton of different tables. Most of these are kept up to date daily. For those that are still being serviced, we've got a couple tables that are old or inundated or outdated. but we've got guru cards that point to which tables are accurate to use for y'all. So we use the Amazon Selling Partner API. That basically means we're tapped directly into their pipeline of data, and we can go and call data at whatever cadence we want to, with whatever logic we want to, try to keep that accurate. So it's the best way to utilize Amazon's data on Vendor and Seller Central. And we have access to essentially every kind of report that's available on the front end of Amazon. If you're logged into the portal, we have access to that on the back end, and we house that data. So you can come in and we'll show you how you can access that, but all of that lives here. And so you'll see all of these different tables. They do a ton of different things. Here's all the columns. It will look exactly like the reports you would pull out of Amazon Seller Central in this case. And then if we were to go open up another client, they're all mapped to be exactly the same. And so you'll see a lot of scalability and redundancy here, so that we've got a perfectly modeled system across all clients. So that's the data that we have and kind of how we warehouse it. Now let's talk about Walmart real quick. Walmart is not tapped into an API. We've got other means for pulling modeled reports. So we've got reports that we use that are the same across all clients, and we have means to go and access those reports every day. It's a little bit harder of a system to work with. We can't put as much logic into that as we can with Amazon, because Amazon, we have kind of the keys to the kingdom, but we're still able to access and bring a best-in-class solution to Walmart data management. So our system is on par with anyone else in the area, and we built that in-house so that we can kind of meet the needs that we have across the business. And so what I hope you're hearing is that our goal here is for this to all be competitive with anyone else, and in most cases, it's better than most of the people that we're competing against. We do have some retail tech data, so that lives within its own database right now. That'll be probably split off later down the roadmap, but you can come and you can see, all of the different, we pull retail media data at the item level, at the campaign level, at the search term level. All of that's saved here. Is a ton of data. Again, I just hope you're hearing that we have it all. So, okay, how do you access this? We're not going to send you here to SQL Server to come build queries. That's not the right way to do that. I'm just showing you this as a basic model. What we have is we have a portal. So I'll log out so you can kind of see that entry, but if you go to portal.onlyonestone.com, it'll bring you to this login. And the other way would be to go to onlyonestone.com directly from the website. If you can't remember how to get to our portal, if you click login, that'll take you to our portal. So when you start at OneStone, you will be assigned a username, and it will come with a magic link. It's your email for you to go set your own password. So once you have that login, log into the portal. And then what you'll see is a very basic home page to land on. And so you've got a basic visual of how the business is doing year over year, month over month, week over week, that kind of thing. You've got kind of a snippet of the product catalog, and then you have a snippet of some of the latest files that are being transferred between the brand and OneStone. So accessing our data is pretty simple. We have a product, and this is kind of the main product that we present as tech. It's called Satellite. It's called Satellite because obvious reasons with our logo, it makes sense. We can kind of be that orbital unit around the brand. But what we're really thinking of is a really high level approach like a satellite. And then as you recognize patterns, you can kind of zoom in. So we'll do a separate satellite training program for you here. It'll be another recording, and we'll get really, really granular, but that's not the point of today's call. I'll show you what it is, kind of what it can do, and then you can go dig in and learn how to use that on the next training session. So here's Satellite. We're in bare bones. If you want to change clients, there's a little client drop down, and then you can click Satellite again, and it'll load the same page. But what I hope you see is basically all retail data services that we provide live in one place. So if they were on walmart.com, that would all show up here, and I'll show you an example of that. If they're in Vendor Central, that would show up here as well. But you'll see really high level analytics. How are we doing comping last year? It's a total business. Again, think zoomed out. as you start seeing patterns, okay, here's kind of the trend line, here's some patterns we can see. Okay, let's zoom in even further and let's go look at specific items. And so then you can go start identifying which items are driving your business, what's stock looking like for those items, what's ad spend, what's ad sales looking like. You should really start getting all of those variables. And so then you can start zooming in on traffic and, were there people accessing these items? Were they converting on these items? Which items were doing what in our business? And then it's really, really easy to go start your day, pull up satellite, get an understanding or a lay of the land, and then go action off of that. The reason that we do this the way that we do is so that you can spend all of your time on the business rather than in the business. And there's use cases here for everyone across OneStone. This isn't just built for client managers, although they're the ones that are probably in it the most. The creative team can come in here and get an understanding of priority by items, which ones are, kind of long tail items, or which ones are hot items that, need sufficient attention. The operations team can come in and get an idea of the same. We have different chargeback reports and operational reports. They give them a different, level of intel too. So all of that's here. All of this Amazon data is fed straight out of the Amazon Selling Partner API. Quick brag here about our team. We were actually the first agency or brand to integrate with Amazon's Subscribe and Save API endpoint. So there's some pretty cool stuff that we get to do. That's just a quick little snippet to try to share how agile we are and how quick we are to try to move into new things. So I will pull up a different satellite to show you. We'll do Rug Doctor, click their satellite, and you'll see how Walmart and Vendor Central get to live side by side. And again, it's that zoomed out perspective. Let's put all retailers in one place, get the whole picture. If we want to go click on one particular retailer, we can see what's happening with that retailer, which items are doing what for which retailer, and then you'll actually see that we split out those items and show all of them across multi-retailers in one item table. So it's all a huge modeling play. The model behind this is really, really intense. But it's so that this is super easy and nobody has to go in and download a ton of Excel files out of, Vendor Central, Seller Central, or Retail Link. So that's satellite. This is the most direct way to access all the data that we provide, and it's built in a really intuitive to use method. We have other reports that have other use cases. Some of these are reports that we're phasing out from. Some of these are just kind of specialty reports that are built to live on their own, but we have a section here called All Reporting, and you can come in and click that, and you can go, pull one-off things here. I mentioned that we had a product. You saw it on the homepage. This lives within our PIM/DAM solution, so that's Product Information Management or Digital Asset Management. This is in a system known as Plytix, and we just showcase that within our portal. To be clear, the OneStone Tech Team does not manage the information inside of Plytix. We just showcase it. The operations team actually manages this. So we're not really going to be able to answer a ton of questions about the information here. You just have an easy way to get there through this navigation. So all of this essentially is an ability to go pull information for the product, whether that's digital assets or it's, product information or kind of creative, writing, description, bullet points, all that kind of stuff. It all lives here. So this is a very, very easy way for you or the brand to come in and obtain this information. All of it's downloadable. I mean, this interacts as if it's its own, as if this is part of our system, but it's really kind of a pass through to Plytix. And the reason that we do this the way that we do is so that our brands and our team members interact with OneStone through one system, and it feels really clean. It feels like we go to the portal, we can kind of do everything we need to with OneStone. We can go pass, content back and forth. We can go look at stuff. We can go look at our reporting. We can go do all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to 5 different logins like we were early on when we were a baby company. So this is all cohesive. I mentioned sending assets back and forth. We do have a file transfer. Some brands use it more than others, but what you'll see is, instead of being stifled by email size and limitations, sending files back and forth, I think email, you can only send up to 20 megabytes. This allows you to go send huge files or videos or compressed zip folders with a bunch of stuff in there, back and forth with the client for approval, and make it really easy, make it really clean. You can come download anything out of here, talk to the brand, hey, we sent this thing, or compliance documents or whatever. Okay, confirmed, love it, send something back in the portal. Really, really easy to use. Instead of sending you to a Dropbox or Google File Share or something like that, it's just really clean right here. Last but not least, we do have a ticket section. There's a few use cases where we utilize tickets. Interacting with tech in terms of new builds or needs is one of them. So you can come in here and file a ticket and say, needed ESP data, put in a client, put in a description about it. We try to ask for at least a week. We have a roadmap of projects that are working outwards, and we're not always able to. Most of the time, we can't necessarily do it within a week unless it's like a quick bug fix, but we'll get back and try to help set the expectations for what can and can't work. So then you'd come through and put a due date through, and if you had reference files, whatever, you can drop them here, and then you can put who's submitting this ticket, submit it, and this will pop up into our workflow, into our project management tool, and then we'll work from there. But we've tried to set up this whole portal experience to be very seamless. Quick call out, you do have a little bit of customization. If you go and click on your picture, you can upload a new picture, or if you don't have a picture, you can put a picture here. If for some reason you want to change your name, or you get married and change your last name, whatever, you can do that here. You can also kind of set, custom color theming if you're into that. And then if you are if you're working with the brand and the brand has new members that need access, you can actually assign new portal access to people. You don't have to come to tech to ask us to add users to the portal. You can actually, say, hey, this brand got a new person, and I don't know, his name's Bob, and here's his email. If you send this will actually send them a magic link to log in and do everything else. And so this is the same for adding OneStone employees. You would just check that they are a OneStone employee, and then that gives them access to go use that drop down and kind of click through different clients. Otherwise, they're just assigned the one client they're on. So that's kind of our portal, quick training, how to get access to the data, where it all lives, where some other tools live. This is how most people interact with the tech team, is through this portal. Now, I said that OneStone is not a custom reporting team. And like I said, there's a lot of bottlenecking that happens as a result of that. But what we do give you access to is an ability for you to go custom build whatever you want to. So we have a pipeline that's built right into Excel through a tool that's called Power Query, and we give really easy access to that. I will be providing a secondary training on how to use Power Query, but I'll quickly pull that up and share the vision as to what this is, why it's important, and how powerful it is for you to use as a power user. So quickly, this is just vision casting, like I said. You can come in to Excel. Excel is the lowest barrier to entry for most people. Most people are pretty familiar with Excel. You're not sending them to a whole new environment. It's just, hey, it's Excel. I want to get access to our data, and we'll go pick on Funkaway, and we'll go pick on their vendor sales. We'll transform this, and I'm going to try to show you what you can do in about 45 seconds on here. So we will do data that is, we'll do data that's only this year to date. We want to show only manufacturing sales. We're going to go choose some columns, the date, the ASIN, units, revenue. We'll close and load. And what you'll see is this actually pops this into a table in Excel. And this is now live connected to our database. So you can refresh this at any point. You can build custom stuff that's perfectly scalable for your needs. So think build stuff, come in the start of the next week, hit refresh, mirrors our database. All of your pivots will refresh. Super duper easy to build stuff that's not just pulling one-off reports that you have to go update every week. It's like come in, hit refresh, that's it. So this is now live. And then obviously like go build a pivot on top of that. So do a quick one of these. And we'll say item, dollars, get look like a number. Go. All right, here we go. Here's a by item, by month, this year revenue table. It was that easy. So we built that in about a minute. And now if we go refresh this data, that'll always be updated, super duper easy to build off of and put graphs on and do whatever. This is Power Query. Again, I'll do a in-depth training on how to use this. I just tried to show you how fast it is to work with, and you can access text data. So I hope this was a bit of vision casting for OneStone Tech, what we do, why it matters. Just know that we've made the conscious effort to build a lot of this in-house versus just buy it from somewhere. A lot of the solutions that you can buy meet certain needs but not others, and it can be costly. Versus us building it allows us to kind of work off of the feedback across our environment and create exactly what OneStone needs to service our full service clients. And so the reason we do this is obviously so that we have kind of a captivating product, meets as many needs as possible, and does it as scalably as possible versus buying a whole slew of add-ins. We do have certain vendors that we pay for, but that typically integrates within our system, and you as an end user aren't having to go to a ton of different places to access that. So thanks for hearing about OneStone Tech, why we're here, and what we've got. All right, looking forward to interacting with you. Thanks.